What's up guys, Matt from the Black and Orange team, and today, thanks to Nike, I am testing out the Hypervenom Phantom 3DF in that motion blur pack colorway. Now Tommy has tested the Phantom 3s already, he gave him a big thumbs up, but this time it's down to me. Are they going to be a boot which are good for my own personal taste? And also, what about you guys? Should you get the Phantom 3DF? Let's find out today in our test and review. So first off, let's talk about the colorway and design, and let me tell you, I absolutely love this colorway. Blake didn't like them, Tom didn't like them, but I actually really enjoy this blue and white. Now the only problem for me is the actual design of the Hypervenom Phantom 3. The off-center half and half, I'm not actually too much of a fan of that, but in terms of this actual colorway, this would be a colorway that I would actually pick up off the shelf and say, I want these. So one thing I absolutely love about the Phantom 3s is those exposed lacing hoops, which are flywire cables which attach the sole plate to the actual lacing system. And not only does it increase fit, we can actually customize it so much better than almost every single pair of football boots on the market, because those flywire cables actually move when you pull them tight. So when we're talking about football boot technology, you can't really ask for more than what you find on the Hypervenom Phantom 3DF. It comes with pour-on pods, and you can see them by those diamond shapes all across the instep and also on the outside of the boot. But the ones with actual pour-on pods inside are these ones with the blue tint. And all it really does, it makes a very soft feel when you control the ball, but when you strike it with power, it becomes a little bit firmer. I can't really tell if it made a massive difference, but you can get some really nice purchase when you do strike it with power. So one of the massive positives about the Hypervenom Phantom 3 is the Flyknit construction. We can see it's got the text here just by ACC, but in terms of the overall fit, these are so extremely comfortable right out of the box. There's almost no break-in time whatsoever, and I think that Flyknit material from the collar all the way to the toe just makes for such a comfortable fit all round. So one factor that Tom mentioned he wasn't a big fan of was that dynamic fit collar. So am I a fan? Well, no, I'm not the fan of the collar. I don't really like how the way it fits around my ankle. And one big negative for me was when I actually flexed it at the back, this part here almost dug into my Achilles, which was actually quite uncomfortable. So I've already said how I really enjoy this Motion Blur Phantom 3 colorway, but one problem with it, and also with every pair of white football boots, are turf stains. Now I've been wearing these for an hour now, and already we've got some turf stains on the sole plate and also the upper itself. So every single time you wear these, you're gonna have to give them a good old clean. So alongside the Flyknit, we also have flywire cables. Now we mentioned how the exposed lacing hoops are flywire, but flywire also features across the majority of the boot, the lateral side and also the medial side, which means in terms of being responsive through that lockdown, you're gonna get that for sure. So let's take a close look at the sole plate itself, and as we can see by the text, it comes with hyper reactive technology. And what that really means is the Hypervenoms are all about agility. Now alongside the sole plate, we've also got that very unique stud configuration, and we've got a bit of a combination going on. We've got hexagonal shaped studs alongside bladed chevron shaped studs on the heel, very similar to the Mercurial, but also that features on the forefoot as well. Chevron shaped studs, some hexagonal shaped studs, and also some bladed ones as well in a flat form. So overall, the Hypervenoms are all about agility. So although the pour-on pods across the upper just give the Nike skin a slightly stiffer feel than what you found on the Phantom 1, and also the finish with the honeycomb, the upper it still feels very soft straight out of the box. As I've said, I've only worn these for about an hour, but in terms of feeling broken in, these already feel very soft. Now, a brilliant factor about the Phantom 3DS is that the fit is actually quite universal, which is definitely a good thing for those wide-footed players. It actually does have some nice width in the midfoot. It might get a little bit more narrow and tight around the toe box, but if you are interested in the Phantom 3s and you've got slightly wide feet, then you can definitely give these a go. Tommy did, and he actually found them nice and comfortable and loved the way they felt. So these Hypervenoms are actually a half a size too small for me. They're a UK 10 and they're actually a little bit uncomfortable. So if you are someone who likes to go half a size down, I wouldn't recommend it in these boots. Definitely go true to size. So guys, there it is, the Hypervenom Phantom 3DF tested and reviewed. But what were my personal feelings? Well, I love the performance aspect of the Phantom 3s. When you strike the ball, you get some really nice purchase on there, and also those exposed fly wire cables. I think that is such a nice touch, so you can customize the fit exactly how you want, which is obviously something which I look for sure. One problem for me is that dynamic fit collar, so in my opinion, I would go for the low cut version. But what about you guys? DF or low cut? Vote in the poll card now, and also is the Hypervenom Phantom 3 a boot for you guys? Once again, massive thank you to Nike to actually send these over to us to test and review for you guys. But that is today's video. Hope you enjoyed it, guys. Thanks for watching. Cheers.